name is Yaniya. I'm an artist, filmmaker, and researcher working with the concept of documentary and ways reality represents, produces, and distorts psychic space, both unconsciously and politically. This exhibition is a result of a life and work over the last 3 years. It is a sort of crossroad between intergenerational traumas, times of colonial histories, indigenous womanhood, narratives of resistance and giving up in the neoliberal reality. The title of it, Sisterless, comes from the central piece of the exhibition, a documentary film I started to work on in the beginning of pandemics 3 years ago, right after when I moved to Norway. It is based on 1.5 years of conversation with its main protagonist, Albina. Albina was a Tatar woman who dreamt to become a psychoanalyst, but instead went through a series of psychosis herself and forced psychiatric hospitalizations, also living through the suicide of her sister Almira. Sisterless is an attempt to analyze a work of grief. It is a feminist commentary between illness, contemporary political conditions, and the consequences of the post-Soviet displacement. Albina has a delirious experience of guilt for a major political event that returned after the completion of the film. Several months after the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, she committed suicide herself. The piece I'm standing in front of, Bloody Motherland, is an after-commentary to the tragic end of this story. The photograph is of Souvenir, a tiny replica of Motherland's statue from Volgograd, former Stalingrad, a place where we partly made a film and where Albina decided to die. The statue was built by Ukrainian architect Yevgeny Vutetich in 1967 as a part of a Second World War memorial. Vutetich is an author of Motherland statue in Kiev too, from 1981, a very different one, with a shield and a calm face. The red on the edge of the sword is made of red lipstick, referring both to blood and the history of red lipstick as an anti-war gesture during the Second World War. The exhibition also premieres a new multi-channel video installation entitled In the Volga-Ural Sky. The work is about the conditions of Russian imperialism and consists of found documentary material in the form of the home videos from the 90s, documenting indigenous families from my native Volga-Ural region, including my own archives. Diametrically opposed to the Sisterless film, this project tries to deal with layers of history not through words and critical reflections, but purely through music and images of celebrations, just exposing home video footage of non-ethnic Russian communities against scenes taken from Soviet avant-garde fiction and documentary films that featured indigenous people of the Volga-Ural region. Tatars, Bashkirs, and Chuvash, to name just those appearing in the film. For example, this piece is an invitation to reconsider Sergei Eisenstein's iconic Ivan the Terrible from 1944 from the perspective of today's Russian imperial war. In its representation of Tatars, it mirrors official Russian explanation of invasion that we hear today. At the same time, it's important for me not just to carry out the counter-propaganda gesture, but to build our own history, as Tatar women, as historical subjects, as voices that sound in their own manner. The notion of documentary to me is closely connected with an opportunity to share eyes, ears, and feelings. And hereby, I invite you to come, watch, and listen.